Preparing for a ADIB, Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank interview questions and answers interview. You've reached Candy Mentor, and this video is for you. We'll walk through 15 key questions you're likely to face. For each question, you'll see a sample answer, followed by the key points to cover. Subscribe, like, and share, and drop a topic request in the comments. Question 1. Tell me about yourself and why you want to work at ADIB. ADIB combines a strong UAE franchise with a clear Islamic banking identity. So I would position my background around service, risk awareness, and values. I would briefly connect my experience in customer handling, financial analysis, or operations to the role. Then explain why Sharia-compliant banking appeals to me. The T is showing I understand ADIB is not just another bank. Trust, ethics, and long-term client relationships are central to its brand. While answering, focus on your relevant background, motivation for Islamic banking, knowledge of ADIB's customer base, and how your skills in service, analysis, compliance, or sales fit the role. Question 2. What do you know about Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank? ADIB is one of the UAE's leading Islamic banks, headquartered in Abu Dhabi, with a strong retail base and growing corporate, private banking, and digital capabilities. I associate the bank with Sharia-compliant products, customer-centric service, and a conservative risk culture. In an interview, I would also mention its role in supporting UAE residents, SMEs, and corporates, while balancing growth with governance, compliance, and ethical banking principles. Make sure to cover ADIB's position as a leading UAE Islamic bank, its retail and corporate focus, digital transformation, Sharia governance, and why that matters for customers and employees. Question 3. How is Islamic banking different from conventional banking? The core difference is that Islamic banking avoids interest, excessive uncertainty, and prohibited activities, while linking financing to real assets or trade. In conventional lending, the bank earns interest on money lent. In Islamic structures, profit is earned through arrangements like Murabaha, Ijarah, or Mudarabah, approved by Sharia governance. Practically, the customer still receives financing, but documentation, risk sharing, asset ownership, and income recognition follow different principles. In your answer, compare interest-based lending with asset-backed or trade-based Islamic structures. Mention riba and gharar, and show practical awareness of documentation, profit, ownership, and risk sharing. Question 4. Can you explain Murabaha and Ijarah to a customer in simple terms? For a car or equipment purchase, Murabaha is often easy to explain. The bank buys the asset and sells it to the customer at a disclosed profit, payable over time. For property or leased assets, Ijarah may fit, because the bank owns the asset and leases its benefit to the customer. I would not just name the product. I would match cash flows, ownership, customer need, documentation, and Sharia suitability. Be sure to mention customer need first, then explain Murabaha and Ijarah in simple commercial terms, including asset purchase, disclosed profit, lease benefit, ownership, tenor, and suitability. Question 5. How would you handle an angry customer complaining about fees or service delays? If a customer is upset, I first listen without interrupting, confirm the issue, and apologize for the inconvenience without admitting something I have not verified. Then I check the facts, account activity, charges, service timeline, and policy. I give a clear next step, owner, and time frame. If it involves potential error, fraud, or regulatory sensitivity, I escalate quickly. The goal is to protect the customer relationship and the bank. While answering, focus on listening, empathy, fact-checking, ownership, escalation, regulatory sensitivity, and giving the customer a clear timeline without overpromising or blaming another department publicly. Question 6. What factors would you consider before recommending approval of a financing application? I would assess both willingness and ability to repay. For an individual, that means income stability, debt burden ratio, employer quality, credit bureau history, account conduct, and collateral if relevant. For an SME, I would add cash flow, bank statements, receivables quality, sector risk, and owner track record. The recommendation should be balanced, support good business, but structure limits, tenor, and security so the risk is acceptable. Make sure to cover repayment capacity, willingness to pay, debt burden, credit bureau history, cash flow, collateral, sector risk, and how you would structure a prudent recommendation. Question 7. Why are KYC and AML controls important in a bank like ADIB? KYC is not a formality. It is how the bank understands who the customer is, where funds come from, and whether activity makes sense. I would verify identity, beneficial ownership, source of income or wealth, sanctions exposure, PEP status, and expected transaction profile. If behavior later deviates, I would raise alerts through the proper channel. In Islamic banking, ethical finance still requires strong AML and regulatory discipline. In your answer, talk about customer identification, beneficial ownership, source of funds, sanctions, PEP checks, expected activity, ongoing monitoring, suspicious transaction escalation, and the bank's regulatory obligations. Question 8. How would you ensure Sharia compliance in your day-to-day work? Sharia compliance affects both product structure and conduct. I would ensure I use approved documents, approved product explanations, and accurate terminology, especially around profit rates, ownership, penalties, and asset linkage. If a customer asks for something outside the approved structure, I would not improvise. I would consult compliance, legal, or Sharia governance. For ADIB, credibility depends on delivering banking solutions without compromising Islamic principles or regulatory requirements. Be sure to mention approved product structures, accurate customer communication, escalation when unsure, documentation discipline, Sharia governance, and why compliance protects ADIB's reputation and customer trust. Question 9. How do you achieve sales targets without mis-selling products? Sales targets should be achieved through suitability, not pressure. I would start by understanding the customer's need: salary account, finance, card, savings, takaful, or wealth solution. Then I would explain benefits, fees, risks, eligibility, and alternatives clearly. If a product is unsuitable, I should not force it. Strong sales in banking come from trust, cross-selling responsibly, and retaining customers, not from short-term mis-selling that creates complaints. While answering, focus on needs-based selling, suitability, transparent fees, product risks, ethical cross-selling, complaint prevention, and achieving targets through long-term relationships rather than pressure tactics. Question 10. When reviewing a corporate customer's financial statements, what would you look at first? When I read financial statements, I look for cash generation, leverage, profitability, and working capital pressure. Revenue growth alone is not enough. For a corporate client, I would check EBITDA margin, interest or profit coverage, current ratio, receivable days, inventory days, and operating cash flow. If profits are strong but cash flow is weak, I would ask why. That analysis directly affects limits, pricing, covenants, and collateral. Make sure to cover profitability, leverage, liquidity, working capital, cash flow quality, key ratios, trend analysis, and how financial statement review supports credit decisions properly. Question 11. How do rising market profit rates or benchmark rates affect an Islamic bank? Even in Islamic banking, market profit rates matter because customer pricing and funding costs often move with benchmarks such as IBOR or central bank rates, depending on the product. Higher rates can improve asset yields, but they may also increase customer installments, reduce affordability, and raise default risk. I would explain that the bank must manage margin, liquidity, customer fairness, and repricing terms within approved Sharia structures. In your answer, connect benchmark rate movements to Islamic profit rates, funding costs, affordability, margins, repricing, default risk, and the need to stay within approved Sharia structures. Question 12. How would you build and manage a relationship with a high-value customer? With a high-value client, preparation matters. I would review the relationship, balances, facilities, recent transactions, complaints, and potential needs before the meeting. In conversation, I would ask open questions about business plans, liquidity, family needs, or investment objectives, then propose relevant solutions. Confidentiality and responsiveness are critical. The aim is to become a trusted advisor, while still respecting credit, suitability, AML, and Sharia boundaries throughout. Be sure to mention preparation, relationship history, confidentiality, open questioning, tailored solutions, responsiveness, cross-selling opportunities, and respecting credit, AML, suitability, and Sharia boundaries at all times. Question 13. What is operational risk, and how would you control it in a banking role? Operational risk is the risk of loss from failed processes, people, systems, or external events. In a branch or operations role, I would control it through maker-checker review, proper approvals, document verification, password discipline, reconciliation, exception reporting, and timely escalation. Small shortcuts can create big losses or regulatory issues. Good operations protect customers, prevent fraud, and keep the bank's financial reporting reliable day after day. While answering, focus on process controls, maker-checker discipline, approvals, reconciliations, system access, documentation, exception reporting, fraud prevention, and timely escalation of errors or breaches issues. Question 14. Why should ADIB hire you for this role? I would answer this by linking my strengths directly to ADIB's needs. For example, I bring customer focus, attention to detail, comfort with numbers, and respect for compliance. I can communicate clearly with clients while still following policy. I also understand that in Islamic banking, ethics and product accuracy matter. My value is being someone who can grow business, protect risk, and represent the bank professionally. Make sure to connect your strengths to ADIB's role requirements, including client service, compliance mindset, numerical ability, communication, teamwork, ethical behavior, and ability to grow business responsibly. Question 15. Describe a time you had to work under pressure or manage conflicting priorities. Under pressure, I prioritize by risk, deadline, and customer impact. If two urgent tasks clash, I clarify what must be completed first, communicate early, and avoid silent delays. In a banking environment, accuracy cannot be sacrificed for speed, especially for payments, account changes, or credit documents. I would rather escalate early, ask for support, and deliver correctly than rush and create a costly error later. In your answer, talk about prioritization, accuracy under pressure, communication, escalation, customer impact, regulatory risk, and avoiding shortcuts when handling banking transactions or documents daily. If you are still with us, congratulations, you are much ahead of the rest and serious about preparing for your interview. We hope we were able to add value to your preparation and create some helpful content. Do not forget to like and share this video. Your small act can do great things for us.